Hi, I'm Wade Millward, and today I'm catching up with CRN Senior Editor Dylan Martin on CRN In Depth, where we cover a big story happening now with the reporter who covered the news. Dylan, we're talking today about Copilot PCs, this AI PC category Microsoft announced the week of its Build Developer Conference. So tell me, what do people need to know about Copilot PCs?
Yeah, so Copilot PCs is kind of a new category of PCs that Microsoft announced at Microsoft Build, and it's basically building off the momentum of this new category that we know of, AI PCs, which kind of, people started talking about it last year, and the idea being, ChatGPT and other AI apps are mainly driven by cloud processing, and so with AI PCs, the idea is that you're using your personal computer's processor to, enable and accelerate these workloads. So Microsoft is taking AI PCs a step further with Copilot Plus by, basically saying, you already know Copilot, you've been using that. Now we have these Copilot Plus features, which will use the PC's processor to provide features that you couldn't get before. One of them being recall. Before Copilot Plus, Microsoft didn't really have any big features that were using the local processor, except for maybe just background effects with Microsoft Teams, things like that. But now Copilot Plus is like kind of trying to bring the Copilot goodness to local processing, so that you can run things offline, not just have to use an internet connection all the time.
Yeah, and we're starting to see that next iteration of searching, right? As maybe you're looking for normally a file, you're trying keywords to bring it up, and now we're starting to see kind of symbols being brought into the search equation, right?
Yeah, and I think it's really, if you think about how ChatGPT works, it's more like natural language driven, as opposed to trying to type in a specific query. Oh, I'm looking for a document called this with this document or with this file name or things like that. I think they're trying to meet people where how they actually use most products now, which is I just want to tell it to do something, and then it will hopefully do that thing for me.
And you mentioned the recall feature, a little controversial, right? It's taking screenshots of your on-screen activity every few seconds. And tell me, both you and I have been talking to channel partners about their feeling on this. What have you been hearing so far?
So I've only really talked to one partner, Megan Omdahl, who's the Senior Vice President of Client Experience at Insight. And she definitely had more of a optimistic outlook on recall. And she was saying that, the customers that she's talking to, basically this idea of having a natural language based advanced search in your PC so that you can just recall anything that you've been working on. She was saying that those customers kind of see that as like a key use case for AI PCs. I was asking her about, if she was noticing any privacy or security concerns with recall, because she was, talking to me that, for one, it's important for all companies to have an AI policy on, what's allowed and what's not. But she was also expecting that, people are probably going to use work PCs less for personal reasons in the future for that reason. But she was also talking about, that she thinks Microsoft, has been very thoughtful about how they have designed this. So she's expecting that this is going to just kind of be something that businesses will want. But obviously we know that there are people who do have privacy and security concerns as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. In my early conversations with smaller Microsoft partners, definitely I would say a lack of interest or a wanting of more information around this. Definitely wanting the controls to not allow recall if customers don't want it, right? And And this is very indicative of, we're seeing both solution providers and their customers are trying to find their level of comfort with AI features, and just rewriting the policies around how to use this stuff, when to use this stuff. So it's interesting. It'll definitely be a story that continues to unfold throughout the year.
I think, it's kind of similar to what we saw with ChatGPT in the early innings where, some people were starting to put proprietary information into ChatGPT, and then for other people, it was starting to spit out that information. And then people are realizing like, oh, I need to be careful with what information I am, providing access to for these models. And so I think we're definitely going to start thinking about that a lot with our personal computers. And so, I have no doubt that, this is going to become a very important consideration for businesses in the future, and as a result, the partners who are selling to them. So I'm sure this is going to be continuing conversation.
Yeah, lessons to learn, but we need to learn these lessons with not such critical information. Not be putting proprietary information out there. Well, Dylan, that'll do it for this episode of In Depth. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
And for more news on AI devices and AI in the channel, visit crn.com.